Now, if you remember working with permissions, we have to first go to manifest. And since we have created this activity with a Google Map activity, it already has this line for us, access find location. And for any reason, if you don't see this line, you have to add it yourself. So uses permission, access find location. It has to be there in order this to work. But it doesn't end with this simple line. We have to explicitly check to see if we have any permission. So how do we do it? It is very similar to the read external storage that we have seen in the previous section. So you say contextcompat.check self permission, and the permission that we're going to check is the context is this, and the permission is actually permission dot you have to type it like this. So manifest. Okay, so let's import this this one, Android manifest dot permission dot access find location. So we check to see if this is not the case that we have this permission. So package manager dot permission granted. So you open a coding block to write what happens if this condition holds. So if we don't have this permission, what do we do? Of course, we just ask for it. Okay, so activity compat dot request permissions, and remember this ask for activity, so this, and it asks us an array of permissions. So you have to create an array even though we have only one permission to ask. So this will be an array of permission, and the permission that we are going to ask is manifest.permission.access find location, and we have to give it a request code just to identify it later on. So I will just type 1, and if we don't have this permission, we will ask it. And else if we have it already, what do we do? It means that we have access to our location service, right? So I will just type location manager dot request location updates, and it will ask me some parameters again. First of which we have to say it will be a location manager dot GPS provider. So this is the provider. So this is the interval that we want to check the location. So if you type 0 here, it will check the location constantly. And if you type 0 here, it will check the location within just few inches of differences in distance. And finally, you have to provide the location listener. And it asks you to make this location manager nullable or with exclamation points. Okay, so I have to force and wrap this. And if you just type 00, it will be most accurate, but it will drain your battery. Okay, so I will just say 2 and 2F, and it will be more than welcome for me. Okay, and next thing to do, just move the camera to the location here. Okay, so let's copy this and paste it in here. Okay, so since we have now requested the user's location, now we can just move to the location. Okay, but in here we have used the previously known location, or we have used the onChange location method, right? So this is valid when the location changes, because location is given to us. And let's try this actually and see what happens, and we can just write the code later on. So let's start this in our emulator. And as you can see, it asks for permission. What will happen if I allow it? Nothing will happen since I didn't write anything regarding to this. Okay? So let me show you this way. You can just open your emulator's advanced settings by clicking on these three dots. Okay? And let me say okay to this, and let me bring my emulator next to it. Here you have the latitude and longitude of your simulated location. I will just change this latitude and longitude to somewhere nice, like our Amsterdam example here. Okay, so latitude will be this. Let me copy it again. Okay, and longitude, this one. So let me paste it in here and say send. Okay, so that I change my user's location. Okay, so let me close this down. And let me just play this from the beginning, and later on maybe I will be able to see my location. Here we go. Now I see my location. Okay, and if you click on it, it says your location. So what happened when we first opened the emulator? Why couldn't we see our location? It actually came here and seeked for permission, and it couldn't find. So it asked for permission. But we didn't write what will happen if user gives permission. So nothing got called. We didn't even request the location update, okay? We didn't request any location from system. So we couldn't see anything, but we later on actually opened it from the beginning, and then we got the permission and it found our location. So let's stop here and continue within the next lecture.